The Podcasting Dead is available on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and SoundCloud. Make sure to subscribe for more podcasts. And while you're at it, drop us a like. If you want to help support the channel and have access to extra content, secret contests, and more, make sure to search for us on Patreon. Patreon.com/thepodcastingdead.
All right, time to talk some Walking Dead on a Monday for Walking Dead Monday.
Yeah, that's the plan, right?
Yeah, I'm Justin.
I'm JP.
And we are here to discuss The Walking Dead. More specifically, we're talking about The Walking Dead, The World Beyond. We saw an article on ScreenRant.com talking about the fact that this show is only going to last 2 seasons.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting, huh?
Yeah, well, to me, it sounds like a setup season. Like they're using this show as kind of a ramp to jump into like maybe the Rick movies.
It could be, man. I'm... You know, as always with The Walking Dead, I'm a little confused with the timeline as far as when it lines up with Rick's adventures and all this kind of thing. But I think that would be the smart move, you know?
Well, then it shows me that this show has a purpose. See, Fear the Walking Dead, to me, felt like it was just something to capitalize on the success of The Walking Dead and a way to get more ad revenue and just to get more money all around, which is obviously the end game of any show. But I feel like this new show, being that it's a set 2 seasons and that's it, they've got a story to tell. I don't feel like it'll be as slow, probably should be a little bit better, a little bit faster moving, hopefully good characters that we don't have to spend, 3 seasons of them, back and forth. Hopefully it's got a purpose, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, man. I know I've told you before, I'd love a Walking Dead series, like anthology style, like American Horror Story, just new story, new characters every season.
That would be really cool.
In this universe, I think that'd be really cool, but...
Well, and you could still connect them, because American Horror Story, after all, went back and connected it all. But that would be cool. Like, you just have different survivors, different situations each season.
Yeah, man. I mean, we could have a whole season of nothing but, like, Abraham Ford, before he linked up with Eugene and Rosita, just, doing his thing. And, I mean, the possibilities are endless.
Oh, yeah. Now, as far as the timeline you were talking about, The World Beyond, it's revealed that show actually takes place 10 years from the start of the apocalypse.
Okay, so it's 10 years in, and as of right now, where's our main Walking Dead crew? I know it's like trying to do Chinese algebra.
Yeah, I mean, and some people really have a handle on this, but I remember. It was a year and a half from when. Because I remember Maggie saying in the beginning, a year and a half since Negan killed Glenn. Mm-hmm. And then from that, when Rick leaves, we skip forward, 6 years?
I think so.
So you're already 7.5 years in. And then, you had, a year or two before. So, I mean, it looks like it's lining up current time with The Walking Dead. And correct us in the comments below, because I'm not going to lie. I consider myself not crazy knowledge like The Walking Dead. We know a lot. I think we know more than the average Joe who just sits down on Sunday and watches it and moves on with life, but not as much as the people that make it their life's focus, because, I mean, we just got a lot of stuff going on. But with that said, one thing we've never been good at is matching up this timeline.
The timeline can be a little wonky, but the main thing here with the World Beyond is they've been in like a closed off community
of 10,000 people.
Yeah, 10,000 people. So these kids, I mean, they've grown up and haven't had to survive. They've just been in a nice little isolated community, and then these kids go out into the world. And
it's almost like they're going to be I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry. I thought you were done there. It almost seems like it's going to be kind of like the end of the Walking Dead comic where. And slight spoilers, but, so if you don't want to hear them, come back in like a minute. It's been so long since anyone's seen a walker. I mean, Carl goes out and kills Herschel Jr.'s a zombie. And it's like, that's the first one I've seen and blah, blah, blah. So like for these kids, I mean, in their minds, zombies don't even really exist. Because remember, that was Herschel Jr.'s whole point, was traveling the country to show people what walkers look like, with the little Walker Freak Show, because some people and kids had never even seen them. They've been so guarded and sheltered. So like you said, 10 years in, we could have some kids, teenagers that don't even remember what zombies look like. Maybe perhaps their families just never had to deal with them.
Yeah, I mean, some of these people could have been herded into like whatever the epicenter of this community was. It could have been like some big government, encampment.
Just been
And
there from the
literally,
start.
Yeah. Never saw any of the mayhem. Just got herded in there and just built the community up around it,
It looks good. I'm excited. I mean, even though I don't really care much for Fear the Walking Dead in its current state, I've loved it past seasons. But I still always welcome more Walking Dead. It's just kind of one of those things where I'm like, I could take it at any time. I can complain and complain and complain about things I don't like in the shows, but at the end of the day, I love the Walking Dead franchise and the world. So any show they put out, I'm going to watch. Any movie, like Rick Grimes movies, I'm going to watch, which is strange. They haven't even started filming the Rick Grimes movies yet. I mean, you'd think, I'm pretty sure I read 2021's when we were expected to see the first one. They haven't even started filming yet.
Jeez, man. I hope there's still enough steam behind The Walking Dead when it comes out to have people come out to the theaters,
I almost wish they could have done something like Resident Evil 2. Okay, if you are familiar with our channel, that's one of my favorite game franchises of all time. If you're not familiar with the channel, well, number one, welcome. Please consider subscribing and helping us out. But anyways, Resident Evil 2, the remake, came out last year, and I think it's safe to say that the vast majority, it was a smash hit. The vast majority, I don't hear many people say they didn't like it. Now, of course, we have some things we're like, I wish they would have done this more. I wish they would have included this. Sure. But overall, I think it's a pretty strong, agreement. That game's easily a solid 9 out of 10, or if not a 10 out of 10. It's just great. But what they did was the entire time they were working on that remake, they had another team working on the Resident Evil 3 remake. So that way, Resident Evil 2 came out in January of 2019, and Resident Evil 3's remake is going to be coming out in April of 2020. So a little over a year apart. It's almost like, I know that'd be a lot on Andrew Lincoln, but it'd been so cool if they had some way he was filming, just have it in your pocket so that people don't, like you said, so people don't have to wait. I know that's crazy, but pay the man a lot of money and I'm sure you could get him to do it. But have it, so that you can basically announce it and then maybe a year later, bam, movie. Because like you said, I worry that that's going to be the problem is they're going to wait too long to release this. And then some people will be like, I'm so used to life without Rick, I don't really care to see what he's up to.
Yeah, man. It's like the CW's Crisis on Infinite Earths. I finally finished that up, but they left so much time between part 3 and the last 2 parts. By the time they came out, I was like, I kind of forgot that was even happening, I
think that the age of the cliffhangers, and I'm not saying we should never do them, but the age of cliffhangers and leaving people in suspense for a few months and coming back to something, I don't think that's as useful as it used to be because we've got so many other forms of stimulation around us, so many other shows to watch and so many things. Like back in the day, you watched a show and it was like will they survive? Find out when they, and then we wait until the next season or months down the road because you really didn't have much else you were watching or going on. So that was kind of like what you're waiting on. But now you got The Walking Dead, Watchmen, Game of Thrones. It's just the list goes on. So many shows to watch that you kind of are like, I can't wait. But then between the time it goes off and comes back on, you've had so many other things to keep you entertained. You kind of just forgot about it.
People want instant gratification. That's what
I mean, it's, I don't mind. And I don't mind a cliffhanger if it's done right.
You remember your first TV cliffhanger?
Was it probably Power Rangers? I think it was like a time either. I try to go back and watch Power Rangers as an adult, and I just can't. I can go back and watch DuckTales and the old Ninja Turtles, and they are still good for me. But Power Rangers are one of those things I just obsessed over as a kid. Now as an adult, I don't even care.
You need to be considerably stoned to enjoy the Power Rangers now.
Absolutely.
Believe me, that's pretty much what it takes.
But maybe it was is Jason gonna die, or it was something with Tommy and Jason. I remember he had teleported him into this foggy room. Huh. It was I believe my first cliffhanger was somewhere there in Power Rangers. What was yours?
It was Who Shot Mr. Burns, the big Simpson thing.
Oh man, yeah.
That, and you can even look at some old comic books, man. They had full page ads, Who Shot Mr. Burns, season premiere, blah, 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 blah.
Well, that's a thing, too, right? Remember, Who Shot JR, which is probably what that was stemming from, obviously. But, if you're going to do a good cliffhanger like that, promote it. Keep the suspension alive.
Oh,
you know
man,
what I mean?
I don't know. It was one of the early seasons of King of the Hill, but you remember when the Megalomart blew up? And you're like, is Hank alive? What happened? Luckily only Buckley died.
Pocket sand.
Yeah.
That's my takeaway. Anytime someone mentions King of the Hill, it's just pocket sand. You could use that to survive the zombie apocalypse.
It would help, man. It would definitely help.
Negan's about to bash your head in with a bat. Pocket sand.
Glenn would still be alive today if he had to just watch King of the Hill.
Just a little pocket sand.
Keep a Ziploc full of pocket sand.
But what are some things you want to see from the world beyond? Or a world beyond?
Man.
World beyond. Is it the A or just world beyond? World beyond. There you go.
World beyond. I definitely want to see, the state of the world at large. Is there still any kind of communication, say, with people across the country and other countries? What's going on? Is there actually any research being done as far as what caused this? Yada, yada, yada. Is there still like a scientific community? All that kind of stuff.
I want to see zombies be scary again.
Yeah.
And I think that we're going to get that because, and honestly, these zombies, in my opinion, are probably going to be way more terrifying than they would have been if they'd have experienced them from the start. Because from the start, they just look like crazy people. Now they look like, imagine never seeing a walker, and now you're getting these 10-year-old, basically skeletal demon-looking zombies that are missing skin and shrunken and covered in moss. And
some of them look like Swamp Thing or something.
Right. So, I want zombies to be scary. And I know that, we've just gotten desensitized to them, but presentation can have a lot to do with it. It used to be a zombie, when Rick's first zombie kill, I think, of the entire show was that one when he was with Morgan. When they go outside, he puts on the mask, has the baseball bat, and he beats the zombie to death with a baseball bat.
Okay.
I think that's the first Walker kill he gets. Obviously, he kills the girl before that, but that's a flash forward as far as his first actual Walker kill. I'm pretty sure it's the baseball bat. Yeah. It took like 3 or 4 whacks from that baseball bat to kill that zombie. And I know some would argue that it's because they're rotted. But now we just get to the point where it's just like, oh, there's a Walker. Here, hand me that construction paper.
Yeah.
And they chop their head in half. So I'm hoping that being these characters have been so sheltered their whole lives that we get at least some sort of horror element to them having to experience and deal with walkers.
I wonder what makes them leave their home.
I don't know. It's going to be maybe just maybe it's like The Breakfast Club. It's just rebellious teenagers.
Yeah.
Remember, like every movie in the 80s and 90s was about rebellious teenagers.
There was a lot of them out there. That and like Deadbeat Dads, a lot of Deadbeat Dad movies throughout the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Maybe that'll be Rick's whole arc,
well, according to ScreenRant.com, actually the whole point of the group of these young characters venturing out is basically they just want to test themselves against the harsh world.
Okay.
So, yeah, they're just kind of trying to see if they can hack it.
Well, that's pretty cool. Kind of like what the natives used to do. They'd send them out into the wilderness to, you either come back a man or you don't come back at all, that kind of thing.
You come back infected.
Ew.
Well, I guess you're already infected. So you come back bitten and on your deathbed or as a walker, or you don't. But I'm excited for it, man. I really do think, though, being that it's just going to be 2 seasons, that we're going to get, maybe even if it's just a cameo from Rick, I think you had said something about the idea of Rick being almost like a secret agent in the Rick Grimes movies. You see him, my name's Grimes, Rick Grimes, and I'm looking for my Dare Bear.
Yeah, man. Hopefully they don't turn him into like Jason Bourne or something. He's like jumping out of planes and doing all this crazy.
Yeah, I hope not, man. Just the way they did with like the Fast and the Furious movies. Like these guys started off racing, cars with fought pipes and stealing TVs out the back of trucks to knowing how to do these like jumping off plane maneuvers, just a bunch of stupid shit.
Yeah,
it's man. They used to race imports.
It's going to get so crazy. It's just going to be like, Rick Grimes, played by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. They're just going to totally just scrap the whole, whole thing. Just, why not go this route?
Can you smell what the Grimes is cooking? Yeah. And then maybe they'd be like Eugene Porter, played by Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
I know shit. But I don't know, man. We'll see. I'm pretty stoked for it. Like I said, man, anytime there's new Walking Dead anything, I'm excited.
Yeah, man.
Because even Fear the Walking Dead and all its slow-paced boringness still has given us some wonderful. I mean, like we've said it many times here on the channel. The fact that season 3, awesome. I actually want to go back and rewatch season 3. First half of season 4, awesome. Second half of season 4 and season 5, but it looks like Morgan's gone. We were just talking about this the other day, but I definitely think that he's going to be saved and maybe moved to the Rick movies or maybe even to the world beyond.
Yeah, I was reading some speculation on several different platforms that a lot of people think Madison is going to be his savior.
Morgan's?
Yeah. You think that'd be too on the nose?
A little too on the nose, to be honest
like
with
she
you.
just miraculously survived. And
of all people in the world.
Just happens to be there at just the right time.
This giant world. And
it would be good to see her back, though. Like,
I mean, it'd be, yeah. Oh, no, without a doubt.
That'd be, a little far-fetched as far as the mode for bringing her back, but maybe they could pull it off,
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what? I tell you what. You ready?
Okay.
They could pull that off, basically under the guise of she's tracking her daughter.
Yeah.
Maybe she's somehow been tracking Alicia, and that's how she ends up finding Morgan, is because she's been tracking Alicia, and she's always one step behind her, but being that Morgan's obviously stayed in place. So, okay, I recant what I just said. No, it wouldn't be too on the nose if they played it right.
Yeah.
You could have her saying, I've been tracking my daughter, Alicia. I know that I'm not far behind her. It led me here. And that's when Morgan can be like, I know Alicia. Mm-hmm. I knew Nick.
Yeah.
He's dead.
For like 5 minutes.
He had one of the best deaths. Nick had one of the best, most shocking deaths in the Walking Dead history, for Justin at least. I mean, for me, I didn't see the Nick thing coming at all. I thought we were going to see how Madison died in that whole episode. Right. And then when Nick gets capped, I'm like, what the And then I thought, okay, they're going to end the episode with them, saving him. And nope. I was like, oh, my God. And it turned out that it was, the actor wanted to leave the show. But, wow, what a way to write someone off. I did not see that coming.
He knew exactly when to get off of that merry-go-round, too.
I feel like, though, part of it going downhill is the loss of some of these characters. I mean, I feel like I really liked him in the show, man. I mean, I thought Nick was a really interesting character. I liked Madison. I liked Alicia. She kind of, I don't know. She's kind of gotten a little, I don't know. I'm not going to say off, but I don't know. I won't really dig in her as much this season. Her little path of peace. Or there's zombies eating people, and I'm going to continue to paint these trees.
Yeah.
But so I don't know. Yeah, I could deal with Madison saving Morgan if it was in that way. Like, I'm tracking my daughter, and maybe they got to come up with some convincing way she's tracking her, though. I can't. Or maybe she's been following the trees.
Yeah,
maybe something in one of those trees led her to the assumption that that Alicia had been painting them, and she's been tracking her ever since.
God, how would she have escaped the stadium, though? That's something they're really gonna have to,
I mean, people escape burning stuff all the time.
I guess.
I mean, it kills lots of people too, but I'm saying, I mean, it's in the grand scheme of things, we didn't see her die. There's always a possibility she saw a crack in the wall, or she saw. I mean, it was a ball field. I mean, I can't remember. It's been so long. But where she was, maybe she found like a dugout or an entrance to under the stadium. I mean, it could have been anything, really. I mean, if they want to bring her back, I feel like, and that's what had me thinking she was going to come back, because they definitely set it up to where they could if they wanted to. It wasn't one of those final deaths like Beth. We knew she was dead. She took a bullet through the head, or Noah. I mean, he got his. Didn't want to survive in that.
No, it wasn't.
Glenn, Abraham. We've had so many final deaths that with hers, it was just kind of like, maybe we'll bring her back. So I worry that they'll do that only, not for story purposes, only just because the ratings have dropped. But hearing she's going to come back, they'll get a surge in ratings. Because, of course, people want to. And it's like, we were talking about. Jon Favreau with the whole Baby Yoda thing and the Mandarin. He said he was having a conversation with Childish Gambino about how it sucks, just how, everything that's going to happen. There's no plot twists anymore. There's nothing shocking because, in some shows, and they didn't mention The Walking Dead, but I will, they tell you, Rick Grimes' final episode. Yeah. What? And I know that it had gotten out, so they were trying to get ahead of it, make the best of it. If it wasn't them that got it out themselves just to get some hype going for the show. Mm-hmm. But you just know of everything that's going to happen. And so that's why he didn't use Baby Yoda in any kind of promotions. He just wanted it to shock and surprise people. And then, of course, look at how successful it was. Mm-hmm. But, Childish Gambino was talking about how, like, Beyonce will drop an album with no kind of advertising or promotion, and it'll sell, and it'll break records.
Yeah.
So you don't always have to have promotion. Basically, you don't have to let everybody know what's going to happen, but I feel like, if Madison was going to return, that would be the thing. Madison returns, blah, 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 just so they could get a surge in ratings for that episode.
Yeah, man.
Just make it fit into the story. And I want her to come back, but do it right.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. I don't know how she made it out of there, but where there's a will, there's a way.
Keep in mind, after saying all of that, I think Madison's dead. I don't think she's coming back. So those are just like what-if scenarios.
Morgan?
No, not at all.
You think anyone's going to save Morgan?
I hope so, because, man, that's a shitty way for that character to die.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Morgan. Give us something a little better than that.
Walked all the way down to Texas just to get shot by some crazy
Stage your ass with Rick Grimes.
Yeah, you could have just chilled in the old junkyard place.
And I don't feel, maybe it's just me overthinking it, but I don't feel the chemistry the way between, and maybe it's just because we're so used to Morgan on The Walking Dead, but I just don't feel the chemistry between him and the other actors on that show in the same way that you did with him in The Walking Dead. I mean, he really had a connection with Carol. He really had a connection, obviously, with Rick, with Henry. I mean, he had these good, believable connections. And on Fear the Walking Dead, he still feels like a visitor.
I don't feel any kind of connection to anything on that show anymore, man.
Don't lie. You feel quite the connection to Victor Strand.
Well, yeah, that's the only reason I keep tuning in.
It's the voice.
Yeah. They kill him off, man. I don't know that I can make myself watch anymore, unless it just really turns around.
But anyways, as for The Walking Dead World Beyond, listener, let us know in the comments section, what do you expect? What do you want to see? What did we miss? Again, this isn't so much made to be, we have all the answers for The Walking Dead channel, so much as it's a channel just for people who love The Walking Dead to discuss it. So let us know in the comments section below more details that we may have missed. Again, most of all of our information, credit goes to Screen Rant, the website where we were reading earlier. I actually meant to do this one a couple of days ago, but we only do Walking Dead on Mondays, which maybe we'll expand that. I think we're going to, if you're familiar with our channel, I think we'll pull mail call and maybe do another Walking Dead one or something. So we'll see how it works. But in the meantime, check out our Patreon, help support the channel. For instance, you can get all kinds of cool stuff like our most recent mail call. We actually did a video mail call for our patrons. So if you are a patron, instead of listening to it, you could actually go there and watch it.
Yep. That's
Audio
right.
quality wasn't quite as good as I'd like for it to be, but nonetheless, it's cool just to kind of see the behind the scenes, I think. But so that was going on. You can also, you get 2 extra podcasts a week, secret contests, and all that good stuff. Just patreon.com/thepodcastingdead, and you can join for as little as $1 a month, which will qualify you for all kinds of stuff. So yeah, and in the meantime, we'll see you soon. Is there anything I left out? It's Monday. I'm sluggish.
Yeah, man.
I feel like I'm leaving
me
stuff
too.
out.
I've had digestive issues all morning.
That you have.
Yeah, but no, man, I think we rounded all the bases. Should be a link to Patreon in the description. Go check it out. Merch to come, giveaways coming up when The Walking Dead comes back on the TV. So stay tuned and stay classy. And that's it.
That touched my heart.
Yeah.
Touched my heart. Talk about character growth. I'm Justin.
I'm JP.
And we're the Podcasting Dead.